Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are a regular subscriber, then nice to see you again. If you are a brand new visitor to my channel, welcome. So first of all, I want to apologize for not having posted a lot of content lately. I've had a few technical mishaps. As usual, a little bit of my health has gotten in the way, but also one is that I have been spending so much time preparing all my videos for October. I'm putting in a lot of work to try to put out a lot of varied and consistent content throughout the month of October, on account of the fact that I'm preparing to do my marathon. So I need to work all this out in advance so that I'm not trying to do 50 different things at once, because otherwise my marathon will suffer. So you've seen what I'm reviewing today. Now, I saw this film a couple weeks ago. It's only recently come out here in Australia. And just a little backstory before I get into the review, and some of it I'm going to touch on in the actual review. This was August's Flicks with the Chicks film. It was selected for that event. I was super excited. I'll go more into that later. After I saw it, I came home, and normally I would have done my haul video, but I've decided not to do those anymore. They don't do very well anyway, and I don't know. I guess I just like talking about the stuff that I get and showing it, and I get some very interesting things, some things that I've never even heard of. But if you have watched any of those haul videos, then I would just like to say that at every Flicks with the Chicks event, which is usually once a month, sometimes there might be two, depends on the movie, at almost every event there is a door prize, and one lucky winner, it's usually just a random seat is selected, they win. And it usually means that you either get an additional gift bag full of goodies that nobody else gets to have. Keep in mind, everybody who goes gets a gift bag. Or you might even get a gift card. And I've been attending this event for 18 months. And I kid you not, 9 times out of 10, the person who wins the door prize is someone sitting next to me. Might be in front of me, to the side, or behind, but they're pretty much within this range. And it absolutely kills me. I'm like, 18 months, just let me win once, just once. And people are asking me like, oh, what is it you want to win? I'm like, I don't care what I win. I just want to win for a change. And I did! I actually won! I was so excited. Went in, I had my champagne, because I tend to go see these movies, the Flicks with Chicks movies, in gold class. Just, I feel like going for some luxury. And not many people were there for that session. That's okay. Sometimes the earlier sessions aren't the busy ones, the later ones are. But, and the person made the announcement, they said what the next movie is, and they said in one of your armrests, all recliner chairs have an armrest, and there's just a whole box there where you can put your purse and stuff. And they said one of you will find in your armrest a prize. And I didn't even think to look. I'd already put my bag in there, and I didn't even think to check, because I'm just like, I never win. But I noticed everybody was checking and nobody was claiming that they won. I'm like, is it possible? And I leaned in and I moved my bag, and lo and behold, I won. And I won a $50 gift card for my cinema. I was like, I was immediately like taking pictures and putting it online, and then I came home and I had this big smile on my face, and my mom's going, why are you so happy? I'm like, I won! I was like freaking Charlie, and winning the golden ticket. That's how I felt. It was great. And I actually used that $50 gift card to pay for a majority of the cost to see the next Flicks with Chicks movie. So I was super excited. I didn't care what I won. I was just so happy that after going to this event for 18 months, I finally won. I mean, statistically, it had to happen at some point. But I was super excited, and it happened to be at an event specifically a movie that they were showing that I was really happy to see. So win-win. So with that said, and my happiness radiating even a couple of weeks later, I'm still really happy about it. Let's get into today's review. The Kitchen is a 2019 American crime film written and directed by Andrea Boloff in her directorial debut. The film is based on the Vertigo comic book miniseries of the same name by Ollie Masters and Ming Doyle. It follows wives of Irish mobsters who take over organized crime operations in New York's Hell's Kitchen in the late 1970s after the FBI arrests their husbands. I'm gonna come off as controversial in my opinion here, but do keep in mind that is what a review is. Being that the film came out in the US before Australia, it was hard to avoid all the posts people were sharing about this film. One after another, person after person, ripping this film a new one. Occasionally I saw someone say something positive about the film, but I couldn't help but notice who was saying what. Now, I'll be the first to admit this could be a coincidence, but it's one hell of an ironic one at that. Majority of the people canning this film were men, and the majority of the people praising this film were women. Given the subject matter of the film, I can't help but find this fact amusing. Nevertheless, I was thrilled at the prospect of seeing it, and then the day arrived. You see, as I said, this film was selected for August Flicks with the Chicks movie experience at my cinema, of which I regularly attend. Why is this important, you may ask? Well, you see, this event tends to pick the same type of movies, rom-coms, musicals, or films dominated by a female cast. Now, I haven't had a problem with the films they've chosen. I tend to really enjoy what they select, but it's always the same style. I'm not really a fan of rom-coms, and not all women are. I don't understand why this event refuses to show thriller or action or horror films with strong female representation. It's as though whoever designed this thinks women only like those specific genres, when the fact is women can like many things. So when I learned The Kitchen was chosen, I was over the moon ecstatic. A crime film with grit, directed and written by a woman, starring women. This is what I'd been waiting for, and I was not disappointed. So yes, this is a long-winded way of saying I absolutely love this film. I found The Kitchen to be fun, exciting, interesting, relatable, and even at times comical, but not in an intentionally comedic way. It was more the series of events was so bizarre, and watching how the characters responded to them had me very amused. From beginning to end, I was hooked, and I left the film not understanding what any of the negative criticisms were about. Now, usually I'm relatively good at seeing things from another's perspective, but in this case, I found myself utterly befuddled. Now, I will say how they revealed one of the main twists of the film was quite rushed, and they could have really gone over it better, giving us more details into how this all came to be, but what they gave me was still enough for me to connect the dots, so it's not as though I walked away confused. I love this story about these women who are treated like dirt, overlooked and disrespected, rising from the ashes of their husbands' failures and making names for themselves. Unlike their husbands, malice is not their intent. Each has solid reasons for their actions, and I think most women watching this film can understand and relate to those reasons. Kathy Brennan, played by Melissa McCarthy, is trying to provide for her family. Her priority throughout this film is her family. Her loyalty is to her family. She accepts the world she's in and what comes with it because it's about family to her. When things get tough, she has two choices, sink or swim, and she doesn't just swim, she becomes a lifeguard. She realizes she's tougher than she thought, she becomes ruthless but level-headed, and at the end of the day is still trying to do not only what's best for her family but for her community. She's trying to bring jobs to the area, provide for others. She's trying to be a force for good the only way she can, and she does it bloody well. McCarthy nails the role, and I love that the character's values never waver. She holds on to them no matter what, and people respect her. Each character has a different dynamic with their husbands. Kathy believes she has a wonderful husband and family. She believes her husband will be happy for her and support her, but she finds out that her husband is just like all the others. He's only a good, decent man as long as he's the one in control. Once that's gone, he's an ass just like the rest of them. Ruby O'Carroll, played by Tiffany Haddish, is one tough, no-shits-giving woman. Out of everyone, Ruby is the only true outsider in the community. As the only black woman, the only thing getting her by is who she is married to, and safe to say it's not a loving marriage. Ruby is the mastermind of everything. She does what she wants and doesn't care who gets hurt. Her loyalty is to herself and no one else, and the reason she gets away with as much as she does is that, as one character mentions, no one in their community is going to pay attention to a black woman. The other women have Irish in their blood, so they are part of the community, married or not, but Ruby isn't. Not only is she not loyal to anyone, no one is loyal to her, and instead she operates through brute strength and ferocity, knowing she has to be stronger and meaner to be taken seriously. Eventually what she learns is that at the end of the day, that attitude is not enough to get her far. If she alienates her only ally, the entire town will turn on her because she's not one of them. She realizes she has to work with them and actually be a part of something just to survive. At first, her story seems like one of a woman wanting acceptance, but it's not. It's about a woman proving she's more than what people take her for, and she's not someone to be messed with. The character's journey makes sense, her motives make sense, and Haddish did one hell of a job with the performance. Claire Walsh, who is played by Elizabeth Moss, was giving me some mixed feelings as the film began. At first, her character was reminding me too much of her role in The Handmaid's Tale, and I was starting to feel like as an actress she's becoming pigeonholed, but the character probably has the biggest evolution, even if it's short-lived. She is a woman who is constantly beaten down and singled out as the weak link, and eventually she has enough. She gets stronger, she develops a taste for violence, and it is exhilarating for her. Developing skills that mean she can hurt someone before they hurt her, that she's becoming someone no one will ever touch or hurt again. Her bloodlust isn't sadistic, she's not going around wanting people to suffer, she's just done taking people's crap. She's making her own rules, her own decisions, she's living for herself, and she finds someone who builds her up instead of tearing her down. She finds happiness and even a sense of humor. She begins to live her life, and so while sure she seems to be in an unconventional relationship, you see it's actually far more healthy than the one she started off with. Her character had the biggest growth, and of all the characters, watching her finally get to stick it to her husband was the best. I loved the performances in this film, I loved the characters, and I loved how that sense of tight-knit community was so prominent. Everyone felt connected to someone. I think the film really made Hell's Kitchen feel like more than just a place, because in that time period, to those there, it was so much more than that. I liked that everything involving mobsters didn't necessarily feel gangster. It felt just like professional business transactions that sometimes ended in violence. I think the way the film depicts the hierarchy in organized crime was fascinating, and really this story of three women who were meant to be nothing more than breeders and boxing bags proved what assets they are and how women are more than their husbands' wives. As I've said, so much was relatable, and I personally found the entire film empowering. Even the ending, watching two women at odds who didn't necessarily like each other learn to find a middle ground and work together and not even make a big deal of it. Another element is interactions between these characters and the wife and a Italian mobster, and how she's rooting for them. She's not seeing them as enemies because it doesn't matter the city or culture, women are treated the same, and so she sees these women doing something on behalf of all wives like them, and she is giving her blessing. Brilliant stuff. Is this film going to be for everyone? Absolutely not. It's clear watching this film that it will only appeal to certain types of people, and that's okay, that's how films work anyway. But this particular film lover absolutely loved every single minute of it and view this as one of my favorite flicks for the chicks movie experiences. I want more films like this to be selected. I want more films like this that show being a mother and having a maternal instinct is a strength and not a weakness. So I'm grateful to have a film that did, and I'm thankful to Melissa McCarthy for portraying that. And can we just applaud McCarthy for how amazing she looks in 70s fashion? The costume department did a brilliant job in this film. I was definitely feeling the 70s coming through loud and clear, and McCarthy and Haddish looked glorious in every outfit they put on. So yeah, safe to say, I really love this movie. Like, I really love this movie. I don't know what people were hating on, but you know, to each their own. Everybody's entitled to feel however they want. There was a particular scene in the film where Ruby was talking to her mom, and her mom is talking to her about why she used to beat her. And I'm someone who is against abuse. I don't believe in hitting your children. I'm completely against it. And so I don't even like hearing it being talked about. And yet the way this scene was written, the dialogue and how it was delivered, it was this weird, it was so well done that it actually for a moment had me going, huh, that's making me look at child abuse in a completely different way. It was really, really weird, and that probably sounds totally bad. But it was just interesting that she's basically talking about how she was trying to prepare her daughter for a world that wasn't going to accept her. And she was just basically saying that she was trying to make her tough, and it worked, because she became quite the badass. So I know a lot of people have seen this by now, so I'm pretty late. I wasn't only just late to watching it because it came out here much later than the US, but now I'm just late getting my review up on YouTube because of everything that's been going on. So if you have seen this, please comment down below and tell me what you thought about it. Are you one of the people who liked it, or are you one of the people who didn't like it? Also, I would really love a thumbs up if you like this video. The algorithm is a real pain in the butt, but the thumbs up really helps. If you are interested in seeing more of my videos, or if you are interested in seeing what videos I have coming this October, best believe they are all going to be horror, Halloween themed videos. And if that is interesting to you, then please subscribe to my channel if you're not already, and definitely 100% hit the notification bell, otherwise you are not going to end up seeing any of these videos, and I'm working really hard on them, so I don't want anybody to miss out. So as always, thank you to my patrons, you guys are amazing, and until next time.